There we go. Okay, I'll start again. Good morning, guys. I hope you are all okay. Okay, we're here for Xero training this morning. So I don't know where you guys are in your accounts journey as such, but what we're going to do is we are just going to have a chat about making tax digital to begin with. Because if you've seen my post on accounting for the arts, you will know that from April 2024, everyone is going to have to be on some form of digital software. So that will mean no more spreadsheets, which is very sad. But I think there might be something coming where you can still do spreadsheets, and there might be some sort of bridging software. So that is a possibility. But we will talk about that another time, because I actually don't have any details on that at the moment. But there are lots of choices of accounting software out there. We have things like QuickBooks and Sage, Xero. There's lots of sort of unknown ones as well, like Cashflow and Wave. So there's lots of different options out there that there are, and they all pretty much do the same thing, but they are all laid out slightly differently. So from my point of view, I absolutely hate using QuickBooks because it's set out for Americans. It's very overcomplicated, and I don't particularly like the way it's laid out, which is why we've kind of gone through the Xero route, because it is something that I feel is kind of easy to use, and especially if you're not sort of accountancy minded. So just let me know at any point if you guys have got any questions, pop them in the comments, and I will keep an eye on that throughout the time. So let's head on to, let me share my screen, and we'll head on to Xero. So I'm going to show you guys a demo company today. This really is, we need to think of it from our point of view as being dance teachers and as dance schools. So this is just sort of a random company, so I will try my best to sort of make it a bit more dance teacher orientated. So when we log into Xero, we will have an option to add our bank feed in. Okay, so this is this section here which says business bank account. Now it's fairly easy to pop your bank feed on here, other than if you're with the co-op. I've had a couple of people that are with the co-op, and it's always a little bit of a funny one to do. You have to print up a form, you have to sign it and send it back off to the co-op. So, but if you're not with them, I say it's a fairly easy process. So I will just show you how to pop your bank feed on to begin with. So all that we will do is go to accounting and bank accounts. Okay, there's only so far I can go with this. But if I press add bank account, and then my bank is NatWest. So we'll find NatWest. And then here it will basically say log into your bank. So you will log in with your normal, you should have like a user ID, password, all that sorts of bits and pieces. And you will log in with that. And that will then attach your bank feed to Xero. Okay. So let's just head back to the dashboard. So when you first open your Xero account, all of this dashboard is basically blank, okay? And then I would say the first thing that you need to do is then to add your bank feeds in. So your bank feed is basically everything that is going in and out of your bank account. So it should just basically be a carbon copy of exactly what is going on in your bank account. So if I press the reconcile 25 items in here, let us just pretend that this is the bank account of a dance teacher. Okay, so we're going to pretend that we've got money in from parents, or a lot of people now are using things like Stripe and Go Cardless. Once we start adding bits and pieces like that in, it does get slightly more complicated, but not too much. So I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible today for all of you guys. We'll just pretend that what's on this bank is things like who hire, subcontractors, teachers, and money in from parents. So we will head down. Let's go for this first one, which says Smart Agency on it, but I'm going to say that is going to be one of our who hires. Okay, so what I'm going to do, sorry, so message is entering. What I'm going to do is, this is where we have to fill out where everything goes. Okay, so I'm just going to, hold on one sec. Is Elaine? Hi, Elaine. Good morning. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to pretend this is one of my hall hires. In the who, I'm going to put who it's from, basically. So I'm going to put something random like St John's Church Hall. Okay, now when I do any of my dance teacher clients, I do change this chart of accounts, and a chart of accounts basically means, I'll just put it to the other side. Chart of accounts basically means all of the different types of codes that there are in the entire world as to where you will post this item in this transaction. Okay, so I know these like the back of my hand now, and it will take a little bit of time for you guys to sort of get your head around it, because there are so many codes on there. But I would change this to hall hire, okay, if it was one of my clients. But I know that there is a rent code in here. So I've popped rent in, but let's go the other way and let's just drag it down, because you will see all the different types and you would think, oh, hall hire, let's pop that in rent. And then I'm going to put in St John's Church. You can put anything you want in the Y. You don't even have to fill it out if you don't want to. But it's just a reference so that you know, well, we've just done September hall hire. Okay. So yeah, that is that side of things. Now, sorry, I was just pausing there because it says VAT on here, and I'm just going to change that to no VAT. Okay, obviously things will be a little bit more complicated if you are VAT registered, but that's not something that I want to go into today. Okay, so that would be our hall hire for September, and then all I'm going to do is press OK, and that is that transaction reconciled. All right, so hopefully that makes sense on that side. Please do let me know if you've got any questions. Let's just do another one as well. So we've got bank charges, 7-Eleven, what can we go for? Let's just go for this Swanson security one as well. And I'm going to pretend that that is one of our subcontractors, one of our teachers. Okay, so I'm going to put in here Melissa Jones as a random name. And then I'm going to drop down and I'm going to find, although I think this might be my undoing, because I'm pretty sure that Xero doesn't have a subcontractor code, which is very annoying. So I would add one of those in. But there is a salaries code in here, which isn't quite the same thing. Okay, but actually, let's do this together because this is a really good exercise. So I've popped that into salaries. Okay, and I'm going to put Melissa Jones, and she is my teacher, and these are for her September hours. Okay, and then again, I'm just going to press OK. So we're going to remember this one, 59.55, Melissa Jones. I would have forgotten that in 2 seconds. Okay, so that's that one reconciled. Now let me show you the chart of accounts. Okay, so I'm going to go to accounting and chart of accounts down here. This is going to be a lot of information to take in, but obviously if you've got any questions, do let me know. So this is where I can chop and change all of my accounts, and this is where I say to you guys that I change the accounts for dance teachers, because obviously we are completely niche. So I like to add in codes for us. So I'm going to pop, or I'm going to add an account. Okay, I won't worry too much about the fundamentals of this at the moment, because again, it can be a bit complicated. So if you've ever got questions on this, just let me know. But we're going to pop this down as a expense. Now the codes, we're going to add in a new code, and I'm going to pop this under purchases at the moment. So the next code under there is 301. I'm going to put in teachers. I'm just going to change that to no VAT, and I'm going to save that. Okay, so now if we look in our chart of accounts, we can see the teachers sitting in there. Okay, hopefully everyone is okay up to that point. I can see a question. I will come back to that question. Julie, thank you very much though. So we just did Melissa Jones. She was £59.55. Why is that not? There's always something in there. I know, it's going to be super easy. I don't want to watch a video. Oh, That's annoying. I'm going to let me do it now. I don't know how to search. Search. Oh, there you go. Search not available to demo organisations. That's ruined my life. So we're going to go to account transactions instead. So this is where you can see all of your bank transactions, basically. Usually you would be able to search for specific transactions. So this is everything that has gone through the bank. And I'm going to search for Melissa Jones that we popped in. Hopefully she comes up. There she is. So I know that I've put this under salaries incorrectly. Okay, this is a really important part, guys, because I want you to know that it doesn't matter what you do on Xero, we can change it. Okay, if you feel like you've made a mistake, it's not the be all and end all. Everything on here is really easily changeable, and if you feel like I made a mistake, do not worry about it. I always tell people to play around with Xero as well, because anything that you do on here we can delete, like I said, we can edit and things like that. So we pop this under salaries at the moment. So I'm going to go to options and edit, and I am just going to change that from salaries, and that will now show up teachers, and I can press update on that. Okay, and that's that transaction edited, and now I know it's in the right place. Okay. Once your chart of accounts is set up properly anyway, you probably won't have to do things like that. But like I said, if you pop something in the wrong code by mistake, you can easily go in, edit it, and then pop it into the right code. So like I said, don't worry if you make a mistake, it really doesn't matter. Okay, so let's head back into our reconcile. I'm just going to have a quick sip of my tea. Okay, so let's take this from an income point of view as well now. Actually, guys, let's head back into our chart of accounts, just so that you get a bit more, because this is something you guys could do. You can add your codes in sort of how you want them to be as well. And again, don't worry about changing things like this, because this is really, it's what you want to see at the end of the day. When it comes to giving your accountant this information, they'll know where to put things, but I think it's important for you guys to have this sort of laid out as you want it to be. So I'm going to head back into my chart of accounts, and if we look here, we can see these codes are the income codes. So I usually will change, although there's already sales in there, so I'm going to add another code in again, and I'm going to pop it down as a revenue code, because that's what all the other ones are, or sales, doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to put in 201, and I'm going to put in dance fee income. This is how I set up all of my clients. There we go. So that's, hold on a sec. So popped that in as dance fee income. I'm just going to head back, and we are going to just have a look at the bank again. So this is what I wanted to do, and then pop it into dance fee income. So there's £2,000 here, but I'm going to imagine that that is just like £50 from one of our parents. So we're going to put in a random child's name. Let's put in Ruby Grass. Oh my God, don't know what these names are. And then we are going to pop that. Now I've put that in, that comes down as dance fee income. Okay, again, let me just drop it down so I can show you, just in case you do want to scroll through the codes. But we will be going down to revenue, which is our sales, and you'll see dance fee income in there. And then we will say term fees to December, or like I said, whatever you want to pop into that code. And then I'm just going to hit OK. And that is that transaction reconciled. So that is really what you guys will have to do. Okay, that I would say that's probably the extent as to everything that you will need to do. Like I said, if you have Stripe, if you have GoCardless, it does make it slightly more complicated, but it's still not much more than just popping transactions into the right places. And then, like I said, anyway, if you feel like things aren't in the right place, it doesn't particularly matter too much. Okay, let's just pause there for a sec. Let me know if you've got any questions on that. I just have 2 questions in the chat, so I'm just going to let's do those now while we have a little pause. And I just want to check that everyone is okay with everything that I've just been over on the bank side of things. Okay, I'm going to come to things like class manager member Meister and integrations in a minute as well. So yeah, let's just answer these questions. Julie, I've been using a business credit card to earn cash back and then pay the card off in full each month. Would Xero pick up the credit card transactions in the same way it can pick up the bank account transactions? Yes, I believe, I'm going to say that, because I do have clients that have put their credit cards onto Xero. So I think if you just go to, let's just do this quickly with it together. I think if we go to bank accounts and add bank account, I'm pretty sure this is where it's going to, pretty sure it will, here we go, it says credit card there anyway. So you do have a credit card option, okay? Hopefully your credit card will definitely integrate with Xero. If it doesn't, we can import statements as well. So I wouldn't worry too much if it doesn't integrate completely and it doesn't do like a direct bank feed. I'm sure it probably will. But yes, we can also import statements as well, so they will still be within your system. Just means that we basically would have to export a report from your credit card and then import it into Xero rather than it being like a direct feed. I hope that answered that. Elaine, so if it's starting from 23-24, it is 5th of April or 6th of April 24. Does it mean we need to start using the accounting software? Let's start again, Sam. Does it mean we need to start using software for accounts the April before? Oh my God, why is that so hard for me to read? No, it doesn't. It means that you have to start using it from the 5th of April or the 6th of April 2024 onwards. Okay, so it's from that point onwards. It's not for the year before. Excuse me. I would start using your software before that time. I wouldn't let it get to the 6th of April and then start using it. I kind of feel like there should be some sort of preparation, even if it's just like a few months beforehand, and you start using it from there, just so that you're getting into the right mindset and you're getting into a routine of doing it, sort of thing. So I definitely wouldn't say to start it on the 6th of April just because that's the day that you have to start it on, if that makes sense. I know it's a big change as well. I know it's going to be very strange changing the way that we work, but I'm hoping it will make things a little bit easier as well. Famous last words. Cody Dance Studios, do you have to do it for each transaction as I do standing orders? Is that standing orders for payments going out? I think it's Nikki, isn't it? There are such things as rules as well. So if you have something that goes out all of the time, or like on a once a month basis, or something that's regular, you can set up a rule, which means that rule will just kind of pop up and you can just press OK, and it will go to the sort of the same place every time. We'll have a look at rules in a second, actually. That's a good idea. Great, thank you. Just wanted to check that it wouldn't show as one massive transaction. That's fine. What do you do with regards to split payments? For example, if a parent pays for an exam fee in the same payment as their class fee? Yes, this is a very, very good question, Yasmin. Okay, so let's deal with this. So if we've got a split payment, we are going to go to, let's hope that we can find one that needs splitting. So, okay, this bank deposit, let's go with this one. So if we need to split it, all that we do is go to add details, and it will give you more boxes to write or to split these payments. So if I pop in, let's pop in term fees here and pretend that they're £500. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? And then pop that in stance fee income. And then we're going to put in exam fees as well. And again, £500. And at the moment, I'll just pop that into other revenue and no VAT. So that is how we would split things into different codes. So you can do that. There's, like I said, there's so many codes, and you can keep going and you can keep adding new lines depending on how much you've got to split out. Okay, I hope that, let's just save that as well, put that on there, and then that will show like this, and I'll just press reconcile. Okay, hopefully that's okay. So that is our split payments. Fabulous. Both of different things. How would you account for exam fees that just don't go towards us and just get passed straight onto an exam board? This is a really good question as well, actually, guys. So when I do anything for exam fees, I do a exam fees in code and I do an exam fees out code. Okay, so some things. So again, this is on my chart of accounts. So I basically have an exam fee income and exam fee expenses. I do have them as two separate, so I can see the ins and I can see the outs. But when it comes to me doing accounts, I put those together, so they should basically cancel each other out. But I do just like to see the ins and the outs separately, if that makes sense. So yeah, it would just be another code, exam fee income, exam fee expenses, and hopefully they would just cancel out each other. Hopefully that makes sense. Do we need to do something 3 times a year once we start it? Now, this is a very good question again, Elaine. So we don't really know at the moment what is going to be happening. So Revenue and Customs haven't really given us a lot of guidance, but what we have been told, or what we've seen as well, is that exact same thing. So I think it's going to get to a point where Revenue and Customs are going to ask for like quarterly submissions so that they can get money out of you on a quicker basis. Okay, so but at the moment, like I said, we haven't got any guidance as to how they're going to work this. So it's seemingly it's still going to be that once a year at the moment, but I have heard the same thing. So are any of the free software worth using? At the moment, we have a few clients on one called Wave, which is free and is okay, but it depends on the size of your school as well. So like Wave is really good, probably if you've got a really small school, not a lot going on. I'm really happy to do a couple of demos on that as well in the future. So because I think a lot of people will be looking at something that would be free, but yeah, I would. They all have their own. They all sort of do the same thing, but they all work in different ways. And like I said, they're laid out in different ways. And like Wave would be really good if you've got like maybe 20 pupils and it's really small. But I feel like Xero's good if you're like a normal size school. I know schools that have got like 400 pupils and use this. So it depends on a school by school basis, really. But yeah, maybe we'll do a different live as well, where we do some of the other packages that might be a little bit cheaper. Exam split, so it would only count class fees as income and ignore exam fees. Oh yeah, I need small hundreds and nothing too complicated. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So only count class fees as income. Yes, it would, because exam fees anyway, I mean, from a VAT point of view, are exempt. So when you come round, or when your accountant comes round to doing it, they should only really be putting through your class fees as your income, and your exam fees, like I said, should just cancel out, and you shouldn't really see anything for that on your accounts possibly. So Nikki, I'm just going to go back to what you said. For from parents for dance fees, yeah, so that works exactly, yeah, from parents, so that would work out in the exact same way. So let's just do a rule quickly as well, so I can show you that. Actually, there's already one set up on here for this one. So this one is 7-Eleven, and they have popped that in as a rule. So if I just head up here and go to manage account and bank rules, Okay, and then we have this bank rule here, which is our 7-Eleven one. I'm just going to hit edit on that. And you will see here that if the payee is 11, which we had 7-Eleven, we've got the contact, which is 11, and then it will automatically, or you will set it up automatically to go to the same code every single time. So this one's set to general expenses, and there's VAT on it, etc. And it will always put in a description as well, so you could put in term fees, something like that. So if I just head back again, so once that rule is set up, and every single time that money comes through, it might take a little bit of time to set things up, but then all you'll have to do, you'll just press OK, and it will automatically go into that code, but you will have to manually press OK on everything. That's the only thing. So you won't have to type it in as such, you'll just have to press OK. Is that okay, Nikki? Hopefully that's okay. So the systems are an electronic inputting system, but then you still have to work out income outgoings and submit it all on the tax website. Again, it's still a very grey area, but Xero have got an integration for income tax now, which I don't know if I can see on here. Income tax self-assessment. So again, this is something they have only just brought out, but in preparation for making tax digital. So everything you would do is on this system. With your bank, you've put in your sales, or you've put in your dance fees, you've put in all of your expenses. So everything is on this system. You don't have to do anything extra. I would probably get an accountant to check it, or if your accountant is doing your bookkeeping, they will check it, all those sorts of bits and pieces, just to make sure it's right. And then I'm hoping, I haven't used this yet, but you will press this income tax self-assessment button, and I'm assuming you would put in your government gateway login, and you will probably just be able to submit from Xero. Okay, that is where this is going. So your submissions will go straight from your accounting software straight to HMRC. So they're taking out the, you know, how you go on to your government gateway and you probably pop in all your figures. They're taking that bit out. That won't be available to do. So everything will be submitted through your accounting software. Okay, does that make sense? Guys, let me know if you've got any questions on that. I'm just going to have some more tea, and then I'm just going to show you the reports on here as well. Oh, and we just need to talk about integrations as well. Hopefully that's all okay. Is everyone okay? I hope you're okay. So you have the silence, you're like, oh my God, am I giving them too much information? And they're like, brains are bursting. Okay, so let's head to, actually, let's just have a chat about integrations as well. So I'm trying to think. So my best friend has a dance school in Colchester and Braintree, and she has around 300 pupils, and she is on class manager. And I believe that her class manager integrates with Xero, so it picks up all of her. Actually, no, that's not true. She puts her invoices. She does her invoicing straight from Xero. She doesn't use class manager for that. Scrap that. But what I'm trying to say is, any of these class management systems that we have are like Class for Kids, Class Manager, Member Meister. I think ThinkBiz as well, or Dance Biz, are the ones that seem to be the most prominent at the moment, and maybe Love Admin as well. They all have some, or I think something is coming in, so they can all be integrated with Xero, which means that they will, if you're doing your invoicing on your management systems, it will pull all of your invoices that you're sending out to your parents, and it will pop them onto Xero. Okay, again, that's probably something that I would go through in another live, but I just wanted to pop that in your minds as well. So just in case you ever think you're like doing double the work or anything like that, you should be able to pull your invoicing from your class management system, and then that would be put onto Xero. Okay, so just a thought. But what I do need to do is, because I do have a lot of people that ask me, and they're like, oh, does Dance Biz integrate with Xero? And I'm like, actually, I don't know yet. So I need to sit down first and see what ones do actually integrate, and then I can give you a bit more detail on how that all works. But just something in your mind. So yeah, just for the future. So we're just going to head on to reporting as well. Sorry, Elaine's just said, I have another separate business too. Do I create a new account for this? It's joint with my husband. Yes, you would have to have like 2 separate Xero accounts for that, for the 2 separate businesses. Okay. Excuse me. So let's imagine that I've put all of my bank transactions on. Okay, I'm up to date. It's 7th of October. Everything's on. I am an organised person. Okay, so we are going to head to a report called the profit and loss account. This will show our income and expenses. Okay, and then it will show how much money we are making. You guys have hopefully seen this. Hopefully your accountants are sending you a set of accounts each year, because that will show this information on here. If you haven't seen this before, let's have a chat through it. So, profit and loss account. Now, I've got my dance fee income in here that I've just popped in, okay? So if you remember right at the start, we put in the dance fee code, and then I put my income in here. So that's showing a 2.5 grand. So I've had that 2.5 grand in my bank. And then our other revenue, that was our exam expenses, wasn't it? Anything else that's on here is stuff that is just from the demo company, okay? So it still gives you an idea of what this looks like. Now, if I head further down, we're going to imagine that we've popped all of this stuff on. We've got advertising, accounts fees, general expenses, motor vehicle expenses. The rent, within that rent, we popped in our, I think I called it St John's Church Hall or something like that. So that might be our hall hire. And then here are my teachers down here. So this was Melissa, and this was her 60 quid that we paid her, random amount of money, 59.55. So after all of that, so I've got my income amount here. I've got my expenses amount here. And this is the most important figure in the world. This is our profit figure, okay? This 11 grand is what we have made for our business so far this year. Let me just see what this year end is in here, actually. Okay, so we are going to, this is this financial year. So this is everything from the 1st of April to 31st of March. And this is something that I go on about a lot, is that I think this is so important to always know what position you are at within your business and what money your business has made for you, okay? So I would know, if this was my dance school, that so far, between April and 7th of October, my business has made me 11 grand. And I would think to myself, oh, that's a really good profit. I'm proud of myself for that. But if it was a loss, it would show as a minus. And then I would think to myself, oh, do you know what? Something isn't working. Something needs to change. If it was like a smaller profit, I was thinking to myself again, can I save money anywhere? Or if it was a really big profit, I'd be like, right, let's buy a car. So one thing else that I just want to show you too is, so with this reporting function, we can do it in months as well. So I'm going to go for last month, although actually what I've done, is that last month? Let's go for this month. And then we're going to compare. We're going to compare our months as well. Now, this is always a bit funny with dance schools, because I know a lot of people do termly, and then you have to sort of keep that money for like the next 4 months. Some people do monthly payments, so we are a bit all over the place with how we do our billing. Some people pay as you go, but to be fair, that doesn't matter for this. So I've just done October. I've compared with the past 4 months, so I can see what has been going on a month by month basis. So again, this is everything that's gone through the bank. This is the 2 grand that I just put in for my dance fees, which probably wouldn't happen in August. But then we've got our £500 here that we did the split for. So half of that was for dance fee income and the other half was for our exam fees. And again, here we go, we've got Melissa in there, but that's her 59.55 for that month. And you can see here all of the ups and downs like throughout the year of what happened. So we had that 11 grand, didn't we, as an overall. But on a month by month basis, we can see sort of where our good months are, where our bad months are. And for instance, like I assume sort of July and August are always those little dodgy months, aren't they, where we might have to do sort of workshops and things like that to get through the summer. So they might always have like slightly lower profits or losses. So, but things like that as well. Again, I would think to myself, oh, August is a really, if I look at August I could compare August for the past few years and think, oh, August is always really like not great, always making a loss. And what can I do moving forward to make sure I make a profit in that month? So I don't know, it just kind of makes you, I think a little bit more about what is going on in your business, what you're spending money on, what income is coming in, makes you a little bit more aware of everything. So let me know if that's all okay. Let me know if that makes sense. I have a question. What would you say is a healthy profit? I love these questions. And when is it best to spend it to save paying too much tax? Well, this is a bit like one of those how long is a piece of string questions. So I think the first thing that I would say is just make sure that you are making enough money so that you can live comfortably. And that will always, that is on a person by person basis. Okay, we all have different needs in life. So I know that I've been talking to a couple of my clients and they live in London and they're struggling on like 40 grand a year, whereas I live in like Essex, and obviously I might not need as much money as someone that lives in London. So it depends on like a person by person basis. So as long as you are making enough money to cover your life and to make sure that you are happy with your business, that is what a healthy profit is. No one is going to be the same. The other thing that I would say is I know that we all have to pay tax, but what I would suggest is don't see it as a bad thing, and also don't try to sort of, I know that everyone wants to save tax as well, but on the other side of that, if you've got a good business, if you've got a healthy business, and if your profit is good, all you need to be doing, might say all you need to be doing, is putting money aside on a monthly basis for tax. That is I'm going to use that word healthy again, that is the healthiest way of looking at it. Because if you're making like £1 grand a month, just as an example, pop 20% of that grand away on a monthly basis, because then you won't see tax as like not a chore sort of thing, but you won't see it as a negative thing. Because I don't know, I think the thing is that people, they have profit, they get their tax bill, and then it makes them feel, it makes them feel sad maybe, because they've got so much tax to pay. But if you're sorting that out on a monthly basis, if you're putting money away all the time to deal with that tax, when it comes to your tax bill, you'll be like, oh, I've got enough money to pay for that because I've put it aside and I've been organised throughout the year. So don't see tax as a negative thing. See it as I've had a really good year this year. I've put money aside. It's just that change of mindset. Okay, so but on the other side of it, when it's best to spend money, just make sure you're spending money throughout the year. It doesn't really matter as long as you're doing it through your financial year, which is probably April to April. Then it doesn't actually matter like what month you spend it on. Just make sure if you're going to buy anything big, maybe sort of if you're thinking of buying I don't know, a new stereo system in May, just make sure it's in April before the 5th of April sort of thing. So if looking ahead you're thinking, oh, I really need to buy that, or a laptop or something like that, if it's something big that you need to buy, I would definitely recommend trying to buy that before the 5th of April so it goes into that tax year. But yeah, like I said, don't see tax as a bad thing, see it as I'm actually doing really well, I've made good money, and then just make sure you're putting something aside. It doesn't matter how much it is, as long as it's something. So when it gets to that time and your accountant says to you, oh my God, you've got like a 15 grand tax bill, you're like, oh, actually, I've got the money to cover that. So what we do with our clients is I try, depending on what their last sort of year's worth of taxes, I then say to them, based on this year, I would recommend that you put like £600 away a month or something like that. So if your accountant isn't doing that for you, maybe just ask them, say, what do you think I should be putting aside? But like I said, as long as you're putting something aside, it's better than nothing. So yeah, that is probably everything that we really need to go through from like a basic basic Xero point of view. I've got tax in the brain now. From a basic Xero point of view, and I think that is everything that we as dance teachers would need to know. So it's really a case of just popping on your bank feed, doing your transactions, so you're doing your income and expenses, and then checking your profit and loss just to make sure that you're making money. Because if you're not making money in a non-horrible way, there's no point in you doing your business. There's no point in you stressing yourself out if your company is not making money. Okay. Obviously, it might be something that you want to work on, but I think it's sometimes a bit of a realization check as well, doing something like this. And you're like, oh, actually, I do need to do this and I do need to do that. So it's so good. Like, I just feel like stuff like this is so good because you're always on top of it and you're always seeing what's going on. Yasmin, how much does Xero cost? It costs, I think the actual base rate of it now is about £28. That's for a standard, but I say it is well worth the money, £28. We are a Xero partner as well, and your accountants might be Xero partners too. So have a word with them, but we can get a subscription for you for £17 a month at the moment until April 2023, I think it is. So if that's something that you're interested in and you'd like to go on to Xero, then just send me across a message, and I will just pop you through my account, and then you just basically have to pay us on a monthly basis rather than Xero. Okay, so if it is something you're interested in, or if it's something that you maybe want to set up together, if you just want me to talk you through it, if it's something that you want to go ahead with, let me know, and we can do another sort of maybe half an hour session just to make sure that you're set up and everything is ready to go with your business. Okay, so hopefully that's okay, guys. Has anyone got any other questions? Is there anything that you're like, oh, I'm not sure about that, not sure about that? I'm still learning and trying to work out what will be best for me. I think everyone is learning at the moment. Everyone is learning. So yeah, so I'm a massive Xero advocate. So if I do anything, I'm like, Xero is the best. But obviously, I know it's not the best for everyone. So we've got clients on everything here, and it will depend on, like I said, on a person by person basis as to what you work with the best. So I will do some other. I think I'll do another live actually, and just show you all of the different ones that we work with here. So maybe you can see what they're like. So that might be a good idea too. So like I said, Xero might not be for everyone. So hopefully, guys, that is all okay. Obviously, if you have any questions at all, I'm going to, so this has all been recorded, and I'm going to pop this up on my YouTube page, and then that will go, I'll pop the link onto Accounting for the Arts as well, in case you want to go back and have a look at anything. I'm always there if you need anything. If you've got any questions, pop them as a question into the group, or just send me a message directly. So it sounds like you're all happy, hopefully. And yeah, if you, like I said, if you have any questions at all, then please do let me know. I'm going to stop recording now. Oh no, I stopped sharing. I didn't stop recording.